This is Pepper, one of our studio cats. I have two cats. They are a bonded pair, and they are partially feral cats, so they don't love people, and they pretty much just stay in this corner. But yeah, this is Pepper, and then Salt is hiding somewhere. But usually they're here hanging out with me. Hi everyone! Jackie Hay here of Hay Hay Creations. Welcome back. I'm feeling a lot better today, and while my son is asleep, I thought I would work on these two gingerbread guards. I apologize for the noise in the background. My studio is also my utility room, and it can get quite noisy in here. But anyway, so here are the gingerbread guards. They are out of their mold and they are cleaned up. What I have done is I have sanded them down. If you're going to do this at home, I like to use just regular sandpaper. Also, something that's really helpful is a Dremel tool, just for like drilling holes and sanding small spaces. Another thing that I do, it's kind of minor, but sometimes when you work with resin, you get air bubbles. Because these are cookies, the small air bubbles actually work well for this design, but I did have a large air bubble under his one hand. So what I do is I use epoxy, so a 2-part epoxy, and I just fill in the hole, because that hole was quite large. And I will just paint over it and you will never know that it was there. This is the type of epoxy I use. It's 2 parts. Works really, really well. This brand, some of the brands I've used in the past don't work nearly as well, but I do quite like this. So now that our gingerbread guards are cleaned up and I cleaned up the lollipop heads pretty well, I am going to give everything a coat of brown paint. The paints I use are just regular acrylic. They can be store brand. This is Craft Smart. When I'm painting, I also like to use this Liquitex, which just protects the paint. I usually only use this for perhaps around the mouth area or over painted eyes. Otherwise, I just keep the paint as is. So again, just for the eyes and the mouth and anything I want to have a shine or a wet look to it. For the lollipops, because they do have some small imperfections, the way that I hide that is I use glitter so that you wouldn't see any holes. So I probably will use some glitter for these lollipops. I've drilled some small holes in the bottom so I can place the stick. And I think I'm going to add the stick with some super glue now so I can hold it and not have to hold this and paint it. It'll be a lot easier to hold the stick and then paint around it. So I'm gonna do that now. Okay. All right, here is the brand of super glue that I'm currently using. I just started using this and it works pretty good. I did get it on Amazon. If you want to try it out, I'm always looking for new and better super glues. Honestly, the best super glue I've ever used is called Mike's Super Glue. And I believe he mainly designed it for like model trains and stuff, but it is the best super glue I've ever used. Again, it's called Mike's Glue or Mike's Super Glue. So I am just going to insert the stick into that drilled hole right there, and I'm going to let these dry and I will paint these second. But again, I'm just going to be adding a coat of brown to all 4 of these figures. The brown gives each sculpture depth. It basically creates the shadows and the deep recesses of the sculpture, and it really makes the sculpture itself pop and gives your figure a sense of realism. Okay, here's the other one. And again, we're just going to let that set and set it aside. There we go. And I'm thinking I'm going to eventually paint the lollipops green and pink, like the examples I had for the giveaway. If you're not aware, I do a monthly giveaway, and for the month of December it was 2 gingerbread guards, but every month I pick something different to give away. Okay, so the sticks are setting. Now let's add a coat of brown paint to our gingerbread guards. All right, I'm gonna get a fairly large brush, and I'm not too concerned. This part is just very easy. I'm just kind of whacking on some paint, and I'm trying to cover everything all over. And once I get everything covered, I'm gonna go in. I usually use rags or paper towels, but just pretend this is completely covered, and then I'll just go in and I'll kind of wipe off some of the brown. I'll try to keep the deeper areas full of that brown paint, but I do want to lighten up things that are more on the surface. And I'm just going to repeat this all over my figure, front and back, until they are completely covered. So I will see you in a minute. Yeah, so how is everyone doing today? I'm feeling much better. And I feel like I'll be able to work on the hallway a little bit today and get some of that painted. Normally when I have a house project, I do it very quickly in just a couple of days, but this time around I've just been a little slower getting that done, but that's okay. I'm going to be sectioning off this month into like weekly parts. So I have several projects that I want to get done by the 7th, and then I'll probably do a little recap with you guys of all the stuff I have done. I just work better with deadlines that way. So if I go week by week, I'm a little more motivated to get everything done at a pretty fast pace. Otherwise, I get kind of stuck, kind of focused on what I'm doing, and I'm just a little more productive by giving myself some deadlines. I don't know how you guys work, but that's how I operate. A few projects at a time. And yeah, a few projects at a time, get them done, and then move on to the next ones. But yeah, let me know how you guys like to work. Do you guys need a deadline when you're working? I know I certainly do. There we go. Again, I'm gonna go in with my towel. You could use a paper towel or a rag. I'm not too concerned with this part. It's just the first layer of paint. Sometimes I wipe off a little too much. I'm gonna add a little more brown. And I do this method with all of my sculptures. It just seems to work out the best. There we go. Okay, I'm just gonna put a little bit of tape at the base of the stick here so I do not get paint on the lollipop stick. I don't want it looking dirty. All right, so now I'm gonna go in with a slightly smaller brush, And again, I'm just going to be covering everything in a brown paint. And wiping away any extra. There we go. Okay, one last thing. I did most of the cutting in for the walls going down the stairs, so I just want to show you. This is the color. It's kind of like a buttery yellow color for the main walls. So yeah, it's starting to look pretty good. I'm excited. Once the cutting in is done, I'm going to be rolling the walls, so that will go pretty quickly. Let me see, I know the lighting's not the best. Let me see if you can see the difference. A little bit there. Yeah, so right now they're kind of like a grayish white. And they will be like that.